Hi everyone, welcome to the Prime News series of interviews with top business and technology experts. I'm Dana Kohut, and today I'm delighted and honored to welcome Jezzibell Gilmore. Jezzibell, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a great pleasure and honor to have you with us. To start off, I'd like for you to maybe introduce yourself and tell us more about your current role at Kentik. I know that you have just recently joined the company as a general manager for service providers. Tell us more about your current role and the steps in your career that have led you to your current position.
Well, it's very nice to be here, Dana, and thank you for taking the time to speak to me. I joined Kentik actually because I absolutely love Kentik, and my role at Kentik is really to help elevate the visibility to the service provider business and elevate the demand of the service provider business and the insight from the service provider business into Kentik so that we can develop more and better solutions for the service providers. And Kentik has been near and dear to my heart for the last 10 years. So I've been along the journey of Kentik before Kentik even was Kentik as Cloud Helix. And so I've been following Kentik's journey in becoming the premier NetFlow solution for the service provider industry for anyone who has a network. But because I was at a company that I started myself with some partners called Packet Fabric as one of the most innovative network as a service provider, I never actually had the opportunity to work directly with Kentik or for Kentik, but I've always been in the peripheral and I've always been a huge supporter. And seeing Kentik, what I think of the intelligence of networks being utilized in a way that help all of the service providers to elevate their own business and optimize their own business. I think it's a key way to really elevate the telecommunications business, which is a foundation for all digital communications and digital commerce. So it's really a key foundation to the global economy and innovation. So my experience at Packet Fabric, as a network service provider, and my experience with GTT prior to that, driving their business across the globe and in integrating so many different acquired networks through M&A, and working at innovative small companies like IX Reach, Nlayer, and Akamai and AboveNet all gave me different perspectives on how a network adjacent company or network company and network adjacent companies would want to utilize the intelligence that the network observability platform Kentik provides. Because I've been there in the shoes of the customers wishing that I had a tool like Kentik that can give me the inside and outside intelligence of the network, I'm feeling very lucky to be here to be able to provide this now to the people who are in the shoes that I was in.
It's very interesting what you're saying about the telco challenges, that they maybe lack the visibility into their network intelligence from the inside and outside. Can you maybe specify what other challenges the service providers are facing right now, and how can Kentik's observability platform address these challenges proactively and help them solve it?
There are a lot of different challenges the service providers are undergoing today. It's very difficult to be in their shoes, right? I think that because they are the foundation for digital domain success for the likes of the enterprises like Facebook, like Zoom, like so many that utilizes the internet to be successful. But, and they watch their customers become successful, the valuation of those companies grow exponentially, the revenue continue to grow. But the service provider industry has been squeezed, right? And they are having some identity crisis because they manage asset. They're providing a service that's almost utility-like these days. I don't think that anybody thinks of the telecommunication services as something just good to have. It's a must-have for everybody now. And it's not regulated, right? And it's not supported the way that utility is supported. So even though the quantity of data that's being transported by all the service providers, doubles, quadruples every year, their revenue is only growing in single-digit percentages. And in fact, many of them actually see a shrink of their market value, for the larger publicly traded companies. They see their business, equity value of the company shrink, even though that they are growing. So how can they be more successful? They are doing a lot of different things to improve their business. They're trying to optimize their operations. They want to be able to sell their services more intelligently. They want to be able to understand the competition better, right? And they want to understand how their customers are utilizing the services that they're providing, which they don't really have visibility into today. And so from my perspective, Kentik has the ability to provide that kind of insight from both inside of the network and the outside. And, both through a SaaS solution that hasn't really been available to anyone until Kentik, and with an on-prem solution for those service providers that still having the tree hugger mentality, wanting to have, their data on-prem.
All the challenges that you have identified for telco companies, for service providers, right? And it's interesting what you're saying about their service being basically commoditized, and no one would consider this being something extraordinary, but rather something that just has to be there, right? As a and optimization and selling more intelligently. So I know that Kentik heavily leverages AI in their platform, right, to provide this network observability solution. Can you tell us more about this? How a company in the future is going to leverage the technology to provide even more value to its customers and partners?
Absolutely, you bring up a fantastic point. Kentik has invested heavily in AI in the recent years, and because we are trying to elevate what Kentik is providing. Kentik in the past has been providing a ton of data to our user base, so they can have access to understand how their network is operating from the inside and how it's being perceived performance-wise on the outside. But it requires a lot of understanding of how the network itself operates and how it works within the ecosystem of the global internet. With AI support, you no longer need to have a expert architect level network engineer to be able to decipher all the data that you're getting from Kentik. You can ask questions that will give you responses to help you understand by collecting all of the data and compiling them together in a response, right? So you're not looking at 6 different data panes trying to figure out how do I combine that data myself. So that artificial intelligence, I believe, is going to help network come to understanding of their position much faster and easier.
Okay. Yeah, that is very, I believe, invaluable. As you put this nicely, no more architect level of understanding of your network and getting the ability to navigate your network and the understanding what is inside and outside by leveraging the technology rather than employing the senior people to be able to provide you with all the reports and data. Yeah, so I believe it's very important.
It's not that it's not great to have the architect level talent, but they have so many different things that they need to attend to, and not every issue should have to go to them, right? If your engineers are able to utilize the platform to provide that first level understanding to get to the root cause of an issue so that they can better troubleshoot, right? To get faster time to repair, then why not?
Yeah, definitely. You should be leveraging. We all need to leverage the technology that actually simplifies our operations, right? And the ability to move faster. Yeah, so that is a huge advantage that Kentik is offering to its customers. I know that you, Jezzibell, you have this incredible experience in go-to-market strategies and building strategic partnerships. So what is your vision for driving growth of Kentik's service providers globally? Where do you see the key opportunities in your new role?
Well, I think there's opportunities aplenty. Kentik has made a great name for itself among the service providers in North America, and many of them are actually receiving the benefit of having Kentik as a go-to tool to optimize the way they operate, control, optimize, and sell their business.
Okay.
So I believe that there's huge opportunities internationally, in APAC, EMEA, and LATAM alike, that lots of service providers can benefit from a modern network observability platform like Kentik to get the insight of the intelligence that their network need to be able to elevate themselves to the next level where they need to be in support of their customers and elevate the way that they conduct business intelligently, the way their customers have been able to leverage the data that they have. Right? We have also many enterprise customers in addition to the service providers that we've been working with. We actually have extremely fast adoption from the enterprise customer base because they are used to be leveraging data for negotiations with service providers, and they just never had access to Kentik, a platform like Kentik before. Now they realize it's there. They're leveraging the platform more and more, to build their own network, to buy their network services, to understand how they can optimize the service. And I think many of the enterprise companies in the past 10 years have done a better job in leveraging the intelligence to conduct business, and the service provider industry need to level up and get there so that we can respond with intelligence in the business negotiations and operations.
We can see that service providers, the telco companies, they are fighting lots of fires, didn't allow them to progress or innovate as fast as enterprise customers. What would be your recommendation to these companies?
Well, I think that there's a lot of different reasons why they haven't been able to progress as quickly. Many of these super successful enterprise companies are newer companies. They didn't have legacy technologies or asset that they have to work with, right? And financial burdens. Some of them have had, potential debt to build out, or debt that they have accumulated over the years to build out their asset, their infrastructure, which is very costly. And so I think having the intelligence in understanding how their services are being consumed by their customer base, how they play in the global internet ecosystem, and who are their upstreams, downstreams, partners, peers, so that they can come up with a better strategy in the best position that they have within the ecosystem and leverage that to play a part with their customer base and better identify their customer base, are all ways for them to become more successful. But, those, every single one of those things and more need to happen together. And it's difficult for them to do anything without actual intelligence and tools to support that intelligent growth. So, to me, Kentik is at a really good place at the right time in support of the service provider businesses' growth.
Okay, I got this. I'd like to talk about you as an extremely successful woman in tech, right? That held leadership position in both operation and strategic domains. What would be your advice or lesson learned that you could share the insight with the younger generation of women who aspire to build their career in technology? If you could share with our audience.
Well, so there's so many lessons that I've learned. And, one thing I would say that's most important is that I didn't get here by myself. It wasn't like, oh, I worked really hard and that's how I got successful. I had amazing teams supporting me every step of the way. And I was there to support them in return as well, right? I think that for all young women, that it's important to understand that we work in a community, and the support of your colleagues, your leaders, and your friends are immensely powerful. And don't, giving is as much as receiving is just as powerful in your career, because you never know who's going to be where, and you never know what you're going to learn in the giving process. So I'll give an example. I at one point was contributing on the development committee at NANOG, which is North American Network Operators Group. And, through that process, I actually learned so much about the perspectives of the service providers on what they're looking for in an organization like NANOG, and how they want to promote themselves, and what are the marketing objectives or the hiring objectives they have with such a community, right? So, like I said, I was volunteering, but really at the end, I was the one that's benefiting tremendously from the volunteering period. So I encourage everybody to support and help others, and, take the time to request for mentorship and practice both being a mentor and a mentee. So number one, and support each other. And number two is, I just had this conversation with someone this morning, a young woman, who is interested in becoming a sales engineer. And he said, I'm not as technical. I'm trying to learn. And I've gotten mixed feedback from the field, which is, some people are very encouraging and some others says, oh, that's just too hard. You're never going to make it. And I gave her my story, which is, when I started my many, many, many years ago, I wasn't technical either. And it took, a lot of falling down, and learning and identifying milestones and taking one step at a time to get to success. So if you want to be something, you have a passion for something, don't let somebody tell you different. Lay out a path and start making your way there. And you never know what you find along the way. You might find what your goal is really your life passion going forward forever. And you might find something along the way that lead you to a different destination. So be open-minded and have a plan to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, that sounds it. It's a very powerful message. And, I really like the story where you shared about the volunteering experience that actually where you benefited, right, from and learned more about the service providers, about their challenges, about their goals. And that actually can something that can help you in your future career, right? Since you get the different perspective, right, of working with certain organization, which is amazing, right? Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing this experience. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience? Maybe like how we can get in touch with you in case of, I don't know, if you're open to mentorship or in terms of collaboration.
Absolutely, always. But I think, I wouldn't be a good strategic leader if I didn't say, if you don't know what Kentik does, and you want to elevate your service provider business, come check out what Kentik does. And Kentik is Kentik. It stands for being clever. It stands for clever. So, be clever with your business practice and come and let Kentik help you to be more successful.
Great. Thank you so much, Jezzibell. It's been a great pleasure to have you with us. And thank you for all the stories and sharing your insights into the technology, into the network observability technology and industry. It's been a huge pleasure.
Thank you. And my email address is Jezzibell@Kentik.com. So feel free to reach out for anything. And good luck to your career journey and in making service provider business more successful throughout the globe.
Great. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.